Yeah, well, Prof here, and we're in the garage, or garage, as some would say. Just saw this bat was done charging here. And I got a ladder. Yeah, I don't have to use that sketch thing anymore. I think this is a wood ladder older than I don't know if there's any. The markings are long gone. I don't know if it's much older than I, but for in here, a lot of what we're going to be getting is up there, or there's our lumber rack on either side of the garage, and then we have all of this storage up here. I don't know why there's currently a carpet on the floor, but for example, I need to get down that pack out stuff. That would do it, but it's rickety as. And from the days of working at Geek Squad, I've known about platform ladders. So as long as you're going to the same height over and over and over, you might as well get a ladder that is at the height you're going to need, right? And I can probably clip the phone over here to the shelf, spin you all around. You'll see what I mean. See there you go, perfect. You're probably a bit crooked, but what you gonna do? So, nice thing with platform ladder is it's very sturdy because you don't always ever have to worry about the hinge not full being out, because to put the platform down all the way, it has to fully be out. Then, if you know what height you're gonna work at, you just climb it, it's nice and sturdy, and then you have a nice platform to stand on very stably. You can either lift things up to the platform or lift it up to here, and then easily place it at this height, right? So the platform on this is at 4 foot, but they call it a 10-foot ladder because that's like the working height you're expected to work at with it. Perfect height for us. We do have another ladder that's about 1 step lower, which is I think like a 3-foot ladder. You're up on your tippy toes trying to get that up there. So that is why I picked this guy up to replace the kind of sketch. I think that's it might be is there a 10 or a 12-foot ladder? Is this wood one? Very solid. Had my mom use it, and she's like surprised. And I'm like, yeah, you buy a quality ladder, and it doesn't feel like you're gonna die when you're using it. Turns out. Now what I gotta do is I gotta get the pack out. It's right up there. Down. I don't know why this refuses to stay where I put it. Cool, yeah, you guys want to be down there? I don't know. Lately, this arm. You get to see me kind of go up and grab it. But there should be chunk change with the new ladder. Get it down. Oh, yeah. Easy peasy. If only this workbench wasn't covered with shit. None of which is mine. Okay, this is definitely a ladder I can feel confident on. Like I said, a lot of this too, you put the item on the top, and then once you get down, you can lift it down. Look at that. If you saw me that even. So, see, perfect height. I could grab that shelf easily. Technically from this step down here, if you stretch, you can hit that second highest shelf, and you can hit that, but you are going up there. Whereas on that 4-foot step, it's at your chest height. Super easy to grab, but you can still grab up top. And even the shelf below is just as easy because it might be a little bit down. Or if you're just grabbing something real quick, you don't have to go all the way up, right? Now I just got to get some hooks behind the door over here. We're still keeping the wood guy because I got to go up there sometimes. And that means going on the top step of that thing. But I should be able to fit the one ladder here and the other ladder there. Got to get some hooks, get them into studs, or put a board across into the stud and then the hooks into the board. You know, but having a proper ladder, holy jeez. Frickin', like here, let's take you on up. Boop, boop, boop. Ta-da, look here, right? Chest height. And you can easily grab up there if you need to. Also, if this was folded in, we'd be closer. And if you're worried about going this way, you could easily turn it sideways. You know, same thing with the wood over there. No problem. You know, even if you need to do something on the ceiling, I can easily reach it because I'm going to have to put up some more lighting in here because we only got the 2 light bulbs right now. They're decently bright. I can throw those in a link for Amazon if you're interested. But yeah, this storage, we're finally getting a reasonable amount of storage. All that pile except for those ramps needs to be installed yet. Yeah, like I feel confident on this. This thing's not moving, you know. You can kind of rest your ass here too. Oh, this looks like there's a magnet there too. This is a place to put your drill. Platform ladders, if you're working at a specific height, like if you have a 10-foot ceiling in your house and you need to work up near the ceiling a lot or get on top of cabinets, this type of ladder might be great. And we do upstairs have that. So this is one that we can bring into the house when we need to for doing that sort of stuff. That one more step makes a big difference, but it does make a bigger, bulkier ladder, as you can see here. So I got some days off coming up. I'm gonna have to put up the lights. We got some pegboard for behind that workbench. Gonna have to, literally, I'll probably just go with all the stuff so I can work behind there. A lot of stuff back there has to move, like that power strip was just a temporary thing. I'll need to figure out how I hang up those ladders. Yeah, but we're getting there. For now, I finally got some more pack out, right? This should not, I mean, granted, that's getting moved, but this should not be, it all has a place. Why it's not there, I don't fucking know. That sort of thing bugs me, for those wondering. Things should have a place, and they should be in that place. Unless you're actively using them. But when you were using them 4 weeks ago, you know. That's not clipped on there tight enough. Look at that. Need something but thicker. Maybe this guy. Oh, it's empty on the back. Yeah, seems pretty good. Seems pretty stiff. Oh, for those wondering, there are ones with half platforms that you can kind of go up either side, or what did this one look? Huh, interesting. I've never had that part of this mount unlocked before. So over here, I need to get at all of this. So we got it. That feels heavy. I mean, it is a packet, but like it's got nothing in it. It does have stuff in it. Is it open? Bag of separators. Another bag of separators. I got one more pack out downstairs, but it's not coming out here because it's one of the sorters that all my networking gear and equipment is in. See, like we just shove shit in the corner rather than finding an actual solution for its storage. So that when you actually want to do something, you can, even though we have all this fucking room. It's really not that hard. Why don't I do it then? Great question. So do I have things to be doing, to be worrying about? I just have to not give a fuck. I guess I don't have to, I choose to. Like I'd like to also keep this door accessible so you can actually use it maybe. This, now that it's going to be set up here, like this has been sitting here for months. Partially my bad, I should have gotten to it, right? But also, there's not really, now I'm going to get the question of, well, where do we put it now that's together? I don't know. I wasn't the one that stuffed entire corners of shit, right? That's just me ranting. This thing actually had issues with the wheels. As you can see now, it's fine. This is the cart for the pack out. You're like, why do you need a cart? Well, this pack out setup was planned prior to the existence. Now they have a rolling bottom drawer that you can get. So stack or hang. There's hanging back here, stacking on the bottom. 400-pound capacity. 10 10-inch flat free wheels, which just means they're hard rubber. It is also a cart, a two-wheel cart. So if you don't, like, if you have this along and you need to use a cart for carting things around, like a, like you'd use a dolly for, this can be that dolly. There is also room on the back side for doing levels and piping and other conduit and stuff like that. It sits in the bottom, comes up to the top. You may also still want to put a strap on it. I don't know how well it'll stay, but yeah, my wheels, one of the wheels on here was actually mounted backwards, so it wouldn't actually roll properly, so we almost had to return it. They ended up fixing it. It was at Ace Harbor. They were actually really nice about it. They're like, we've never seen this like this. Of course you don't see it because I get fucked by all that shit all the time. So yeah, I don't know why, like, for example, if it was me, those things seem dainty and metal. Clear that off, take the heavy stuff that's on the workbench and put the nice stuff that can't be broken up there, or the very breakable. And, just an idea. Just an idea. But, for example, because I want to keep kicking it the entire fucking time, I can guarantee I'm going to keep. Yep, there's one that already fell off, possibly broke. See? Cracked. I didn't do that just now. But who knows when it did or didn't happen. Because fragile things shouldn't be on the floor. So this is what now they have a rolling cart, or sorry, a bottom cabinet, much like this, except instead of opening like this, boom, right? It opens, pulls out like a drawer instead of being a cabinet. This is actually from their garage system. So it could either go on the bottom like this, right? Or because it has latches on the back of it, could hang from here like that. Right? Because they actually show off having like a basket on your cart and then carrying a toolbox in the bottom or something. And it can do that because it is both a, this is one for the cabinet or like a garage. So imagine this is your garage wall here. You have it up much higher and you'll be able to pull stuff out. I, however, will be using it as the base because to be truthful, I probably wouldn't have bought this and had the rolling box or rolling drawer, which now exists as a bottom box. Had that existed, I wouldn't have had to do this hack. Well, this is the hack that a lot of tradespeople were using to get down here. This first one can be tricky because it wants to roll backwards. Lower, hatch up. Get it? Got it. So, for example, and now you can roll it all around, right? See, rolling. So now you can buy a bottom, instead of a cabinet, you can buy a drawer that has wheels on the back. That is basically like the normal 3-piece pack out you'd see, but instead of it being a toolbox that you have to open, it has a drawer you can pull out. It is $250. To be truthful, combine those two though are probably in that same realm, so I don't think it's like uncalled for by any means. I would probably have gotten, because just from a storage perspective, I'm going to store this in the garage probably together like this, unless we need to pull it apart for using just the thing. This thickness wise, this whole thing back here, I could have saved space wise if these wheels were part of that guy. So there is a chance that I still may at some point invest in the drawer in the bottom with the that has the wheels, just to keep it more compact. And then I can put a basket on this guy, maybe the cabinet on the bottom, or even the cabinet here, basket on top, and like a standard toolbox on the bottom or something. But for now, because I just spent a bunch of money on, well, this was, I owned some pieces previously, and then that was a Christmas present right there. You're like, well, Prof, it is June. Yeah, shit happens. But for now, this is going to be my, config. And then if I need to bring certain toolboxes, throw them in the back of my car, I can easily fit at least 2, if not 4, if I stack them back there. That would be all 4 of these. Could fit in the back. This, though, wouldn't. So that's another thing why I would switch this up, is because I have my little small mini over here. Fitting the hand truck in there would be quite complex. However, fitting, I'd have to stack them 1, 2. I bet you I can fit 4 in there easily enough with the back seats down. So that would be another reason why I would trade out the hand truck and the cabinet piece for the drawer, the rolling drawer, basically the bottom rolling drawer. That does not go on sale now. It just came out. Ace doesn't even have it. I did see it in person at Home Depot. I was very, very tempted to grab it, but I'm like, I haven't even used this shit yet. You're wanting things just because you're wanting things, you know. My setup here is probably going to be this guy. You guys let me know what you think about it. I'm thinking, obviously, cabinet on the bottom. Then we go with the 2 drawer. I'm gonna go, because that's gonna be heavier, right? And I don't know, I may have to find some way to pull this in here to keep that nice and tight, because it is a little weeble wobbly already, even with just 2 on there, and that's with no tools in right now, right? So let me know what you think when I get done with this. But you remember, like, the cart and the bottom box I picked up before I think they even announced, or I asked for it, put it on my list before they even announced the other one. I think I might have even gotten it before they announced the bottom box with the drawer. Even though a lot of people wanted that, but then when it was out, they're like, oh, but it's so expensive. I can buy an entire base pack out set, and you can. The entire base pack out that has the base 3 kit, I think you can get on sale during the holiday for $250. So the fact that the the fact that the just the bottom drawer, it's a very well built drawer, but also with wheels on it, and it's got the bigger wheels like this cart has, is $250 when you can get the whole base pack out, which is no drawers, it's 3 toolboxes, right? For $250 on sale, I believe. Honestly, I've seen that. I think those are only $350, which is why I ended up with, this is what I originally bought, plus one of these. This is another one. The other one already has my networking equipment in it, like Cat 5, Cat 6E, Cat 6A, sorry, connectors, keystones, crimps, wall plates, punch downs, you name it, it's all in. And basically I can grab one kit and then one tool bag, which maybe I'll eventually upgrade to a Milwaukee pack-out style tool bag. And I can do all of my network cabling. So this was the original setup I was going to go with, though, was box in the bottom. You can throw whatever you want in here. Whether it's a project you need parts for, you can huck the parts in there. Or if you have bigger tools, like a circ saw, jigsaw, any of that shit, you can just throw it in there, close her up, and carry it. The reason why I wanted this cabinet is so you don't have to lift everything. Yes, I know it's called a pack out, and you have to unpack every time you have to use it, but once you have it set up on a job site, I feel like it's kind of annoying to have to do that every time, which is why I went with big drawers as well, because if I wanted to put power tools in here, I thought I would need these bigger, deeper, the 2 drawer system here. Oh, I gotta send pictures to buddy Charger, he was like, oh, I wish they had ball bearings. At least the 2-drawer system does seem to have metal slides. I don't know if they're ball bearing slides. Yeah, this one has slides too. What about the 4-drawer? The 4-drawer, I don't know if those are ball bearing slides. They definitely have metal slides, which is much better than a lot of competitors that do not have slides. But then I found out that even their big 1/2-inch impact, right, has or can fit in the 3-drawer. So then what we've got here is a 3-drawer. Right? Yeah, so this thing is a little bit weeble wobbly. I may employ some Velcro ties from, I think there's a hole here that I can put through right there, just to kind of tighten that up a little bit more, to make it lean. You can kind of see how that's bouncy. Bouncy, 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 bouncy. We do not like that here. So once I found out that the 3-drawer can even fit their 1/2-inch impact, as long as you don't put line in the drawer, it will fit in one of these. It's deep enough. You don't put any of the separators in. And there's all our separators. Number 3 divider kit for pack out drawer. 3 kits. Yeah, this is getting very weeble wobbly. And maybe because this bottom one is a cabinet for the wall and doesn't have these metal sides. So if you guys have tried this setup before and have had this guy on the bottom, let me know. Is that why it's so weeble wobbly? And maybe I unpack it and try the 2-drawer all the way on the bottom, and we see if that is the case. I have seen some stuff on Instagram that actually makes like all of these lockable in one, rather than having to lock. You know, at least for these ones, the drawers, they're all on the same side. The cabinet is on the other side for whatever reason. Then my whole thought is, now that I've got my big drawers for the big tools, my medium drawers which can supposedly take up to a 1/2-inch impact, which one day I will have in the garage here. I cut off that label. I think this knife needs a new freaking blade. Like, real bad. Yeah. That's fucking horrible. Those aren't, these are the cheap high-vis. You're seeing these? These are like the cheap knockoffs of the Gerber EAB. We keep the high-vis ones in the garage so you don't lose them, ideally. Okay, look at that. The one with the sharp blade actually cuts real easy. Who would have known? Get a new blade on the front. A little butter knives in here. So the next one going up here, and this is where, like I said, I think it's getting pretty weeble wobbly, and I may have to reconsider. Is the 4-drawer. And my thought process with 2-drawer, 3-drawer, 4-drawer is heavier tools are going to be on the bottom. However, with the 4-drawer, it's already heavier out of the gate, and theoretically, you're going to fill it with more tools. So, let me know what you all think. Is this how you would build it? I mean, you know, and I really think that you wouldn't probably get the cart plus the cabinet bottom. You would get the drawer bottom. So yeah, now my worry with this is that, like that. If I hold that and I lean it back, we're good. If I don't though, it does eventually come back, you know. Yeah, I think I've hit my pack out stack, you know. Or would you guys go, and I might try that real quick, is put the cabinet on the top of this. Because it is quite wobbly, and I want to know if that's because the cabinet's on the bottom, because it doesn't have these nice supports here, or if it's because, pull this off. Okay. Yeah, the 4 drawer is much heavier than even the 3 drawer. 2 drawers, server lighter as well. So we're gonna put 2 drawer, 3 drawer, 4 drawer. Seems less wobbly. Still's got some wobble to it though, so I feel like that's how the mounting solution is. It does fit better on the arms over here. Let me show you. It does fit better on the arms here. It is less wobbly. So I guess I could do that is take this guy and put him there. I don't mind that. I prefer it on the bottom, but it is much. This was my worry about. Supposedly people are using it every day with that guy on the bottom. And that's how I would much rather have it be. And maybe if I end up getting that bottom rolling drawer, I'll go back to that. But for now on the cart, because this doesn't go all the way, it doesn't have these metal outriggers, it is much less wobbly not having this guy on the bottom. So they effectively made what they wanted, but I think you have to use not the drawers, which are pretty heavy. Like they're heavy in their own right, just as drawers. You'd have to not use those potentially, or use standard toolbox. You know, I'm kind of happy though, because I still don't have to unpack anything. I just open this up, pull that thing, you know, whatever it is. Like I said, probably the most often thing in here is going to be the circ stuff. And then coming down here, plenty happy with this. I saw multiple videos though saying that they used the combination with the cabinet on the bottom, which I think it's just, I don't know if it would stand up. You saw how weeble wobbly it is just me here. And to be truthful, I may still find a way to like loop some. I mean, I don't even know if I have to anymore, because there's a little bit of bounce there. You know, there's a little bit. But it is nothing like it was, you know? Or even just up here. If I can do like, I actually have some Velcro strapping. Yeah, I'll probably do that right up here in the back. I don't know if I'm even in frame. But if I loop it right up top here on top of this, kind of like my hands are like this, and I put that Velcro strapping, I have like a roll of just Velcro, and I just loop it around, that should be good. Otherwise, I do have like, you know, Velcro tie. If those are long enough, I can leave the loops on here and then loop them through this way and then around. If they're long enough, that'd be great, because then I can just retain them on the handle here. The other way you can do it is there are bolts right here, right, that go through and hold this handle on. Let me bring the camera over. So there's still, actually probably we're seeing pretty good, but there's still a little bit of, see, that fits much better. That here was just farther away, so then it made the whole thing wobbly. So it's already this wobbly, but when you do lean it back, it does pretty good. See? It eventually comes back. Now where I think it would do better, and it wouldn't lean forward like that, is if I had something looped from back here through that metal loop right there. Or, because there is a bolt head right there, if we can unscrew that, you could screw down one of the ones with the eyelet, loop it through, and hold it on there. So I'll figure that out. It needs to be something like Velcro, though, that's easily removable. So when you want to pack this out, as in the name is, you just flip some Velcro and it comes undone. I would have preferred to have this guy on the bottom. Like I said, I saw multiple shorts that had this setup with this cart. That's why I bought it. That's why it was on my list of, hey, I want the cart and I want this specific pack out. And people are like, why do you want the pack out for the garage? And the reason is because it's a cabinet. And prior to the current rolling drawer that would go on the bottom, this guy was the only sort of big toolbox type thing that would allow you to put it on the bottom without pulling it out, right? Now this setup, since all mine are drawers or cabinets, I think it's fine. And then this thing should be plenty strong up here for putting on all of these. So for example, this one I'm going to fill with all of my decking screws, wood screws. Toss it up there, push it on, bada bing. Now with the budget, because how I got boom, 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 or not, these two guys, the 3 and the 4 drawer, and actually as you add more drawers, it gets more expensive for those wondering. They're also heavier, but you get more sorting, right? Pick those two up, and this guy, and these two over here, these half-sized ones, because Ace had a spend $500 on pack out, which, like, you spent $500? No, I didn't. Because if you put $500 of retail price pack out in your thing, you get $200 off. So that's my current pack out stack. Or say if you had because there are also half-size toolboxes or coolers or anything like that, you could pop that on this side, and you got your sorters over here that are the half-size sorters. These are the half width. They also have some that are the half height. I do pretty much, this pack out is packed out, maybe minus this. I'm gonna use this thing for a while first though. But this guy, the cabinet, and the cart getting replaced with that sliding drawer, because, you know, when this whole thing was planned and started out, that did not exist yet, you know? What you're gonna do there. But that's the only thing that might happen. And if that happens, then like I said, the cart will probably go to cart with a standard toolbox on the bottom. Then with this guy here, the cabinet hanging off this middle one, and then they make just like a basket where you can just huck tools in. That would be super duper useful for me. I'd probably put it on top of the cabinet, and that would be the cart. Then we'd still have the cart for doing cart things, and I would actually be able to put, like I said, all 4 of these, I think, plus whatever I thought I needed of that, should be able to fit back in here. You know, two slim guys in the middle sort of thing, like the slim sorters. So at least that's my idea there. And now not all my tools are going in here. Mostly it's secondary stuff. Nice stuff's still gonna be in the toolbox in the basement. But I am gonna have, like I have some of my older Nipex that's not Nip Extend. That's gonna go out here. Also like the angle grinder. Most of my stuff is 12 volt. We do have 18 volt yard tools. There's a blower. So most of the 18 volts already out here. There's our trimmer that we just were putting the strap on, and I have to reattach the handle because it came off. Because they don't provide you lock nuts. However, they did learn See that? That's a lock nut on that one, or a nylon thread lock nut on this guy. It's not on this handle, at least on the one we had. Really, it's required. And this screw is barely big enough. So that might get, if you notice, it's also metal on metal. It's probably gonna rotate then, and that's kind of sketch. If I put a little bit of rubber between there, I'll probably have to use a bigger screw. Just 'cause it's gonna be wider. But this is, like, unless I run into something, or the thing that really hurts me is the not being able to get the cart in my car. We'll see if that really hurts me. If it does, like I said, I might use that as an excuse to get that bottom rolling drawer, the single big rolling drawer that goes on the bottom. That way, at least these four and any of these sorters that I need could easily fit in the back of there. No problem. And I went with these half sorters because though I knew that our wood screws and deck screws, that I like the GRK, what are there, something 4 screws, they kind of do all of it. They'll fill this guy up, right? These do not have a purpose yet, and you're like, well, why'd you buy them? Well, because I had that thing where it's like I had to spend the $500 to get $200 off. It was either these 2 small ones or another big one, or possibly like a thin one. Now those get pretty thin. These were, not knowing what I'd potentially put in them, the most useful to me, because most of our stuff we have probably isn't enough to fill out one of these big ones. Also, like I said, this kind of gives you that split thing where you could put a tool bag on this side. Like they have ones that snap into the pack out on that side, and you can split it up like this and put the tool bag there if you wanted a cooler, or or they have a vacuum. Not that I need that, but it just gives you a little bit more versatility. But as far as I can see, the only thing that I would build out in this stack is more of this for screws, connectors, bolts, nuts. Like I said, I have one for all my networking gear. That one's not going to live out here because though we have a heater in the garage, I don't want to risk that. Want it to be a little bit more temperature controlled. But yeah, let me know what you think. Like I said, there is a big improvement that you could do now that I could have done last weekend, but it is a pricey upgrade to do, especially when I haven't even, like you're seeing this, I'm taking the tags off of most of this right now. I hate these stickers, by the way. At least on, I think, a lot of these ones I put on the back. They can't here because of the hinge. It's gonna bug me, especially that one that's hanging off. This one, it's gonna stay itself on, so I don't have to worry, but that fucker. So, think of this as my, like my mini portable tool or garage toolbox that, I can take and huck in the car. Worst case too, how this is set up too, is this probably won't be full. When I'm working on a project, say I'm doing brakes on the old car, I can take my tools, throw them in here, and actually have a place to put them for the ones I need for the job, and then go and put them away. Or if I need to take certain ones of theirs with me, I don't necessarily need a full set of Torx in here, right? And we're talking like T6 to T50 or something, like maybe you do, that's what you put in here. But this is kind of going to be a condensed tool set, like your 3 pliers instead of your 18 pliers. Stuff like that. And the more commonly used stuff too, I'm going to put, I actually don't even fucking know where they went. I have the new compact brushless, no, not compact, subcompact brushless, M12. Those are going to live out here, probably with a certain set of batteries. Those will only need the small ones. So probably 2 batteries out here with those. We do have an M12 charger because the M18 charger also has like M12 spot on it. So those will live in one of probably that middle drawer there. That way I do have a drill and an impact readily available out here, or you know, my mom needs it or somebody else needs it. They don't have to go traipse downstairs to figure out which of these is the correct one. You just have like a basic impact driver and a basic drill. For most things, they're going to be powerful enough. And also, they're Milwaukee. You don't have to be asked, like, what, you know, just leave the batteries detached in the drawer with them. Keep it simple. You know what I mean? I got my older impact drivers, my DeWalt ones that I really like. Those are going to, what does the Packout logo come off on these? I wonder. I wonder if that pops out. If it does, can I do like custom stuff? Those of you that are like Packout guys, let me know. Also, how would you lock this up? I initially here won't have to worry too much about that because of it being in the garage. But that is one thing that I did see people irk about, is that all these locks are on this side for the Packout, the normal Packout carry stuff, but then all the garage Packout have the locks on the opposite side. That seems insane why you would do that. You know, but let me know. I know some people would purposely lock, they sandwich these between some of these other ones they can lock too, because then you can't get them without detaching it. But if you lock it, you can make it not detach. I'm not too worried about that, but if there is an easy way, like, or a recommend, I think I saw some people on Instagram have some sort of like fix for those, so you couldn't like unlatch it or something. I don't remember exactly what it was. I'll have to look it up, but it was like a fix, so it's like more secure or something. See if I need that, or I can 3D print it, or because I do have, I didn't build it. Talk the father into building that 3D printer, but it's working apparently. So if I can get custom logos on there, let me know. It seems like this one on the 4 drawer is oddly smaller than the 2 and the 3 drawer. Interesting. But yeah, let me know what you think about my Packout stack. Is this the way that you would go? Is there anything you would substitute, and why? I was really hoping that this guy could go on the bottom. Like I said, there were a bunch of YouTube, I say TikToks, but they're YouTube shorts, that had that were recommending it. I actually have one saved that was showing it off. I'm like, oh, that's genius. Yeah, because it's so dumb to have to unpack all your drawers to get to your toolbox, which is on the bottom. Genius. And then, you know, eventually Milwaukee made very recently, and like I said, I had one in front of me at Home Depot, but $250, that is rough, especially when I just spent the $300 for the rest of this. That's actually how I believe the cart and the 2 drawer, and I think this guy possibly, I don't know, it was family members that split it up, but Ace had another thing there where it was spend $500, get it for $350, and I opted for that rather than the standard set, because the standard set is all cabinets or toolboxes that have to be opened on the top, meaning you have to unpack it to get what's in there, and there's no easy way to get at it. I thought in my brain, I would rather spend that same money on, yes, you're getting one less box, because I got 2 boxes in the cart, but it'd be more usable and it would build out. So a lot of people, what they end up doing is they start with the base Packout and they end up swapping a lot of the bits out. So my thought was like, hey, I'm going to be smart. I'm going to go straight to what people are recommending after using it for a while, which is a lot of these drawers and cabinets and stuff. You know, rather than starting with that base set, especially when, at least not on sale, the Ace deal was like, if you spend, I think it was on Christmas, it was spend $500, get it for $350, I want to say, or $320, somewhere in that range. And that base set was that same price. So it's like, oh, instead of being forced into this base 3 items set, you can choose what you want, basically, for as long as you get near that price. And I kind of did the same thing now. Ace had another thing where it was spend $500, get $200 off. That is 40% off. So yes, you're buying the Packouts at full price, but then they discount the whole order, which is, don't buy, unless you have a need. I was going to say don't buy Packout now on sale. Packouts themselves do go on sale, right? Or watch for like the thing I did where it's like, you buy enough Packout, get a discount. and maybe you don't buy enough pack out. Maybe you have to partner with some work buddies or some neighbors or something, but take advantage of the deal. You know, unless you're like on a project and you're like, fuck, I need another 4-drawer ASAP, otherwise we can't do this. Yeah, then you gotta go and buy it. Hopefully you're making enough money on that project to offset. Oh, fuck. Well, that one's gonna go back. And luckily it's the one I haven't taken the tag off. Was this the one that was in another city over, though? Well, fuck. It's always got to be something. I never did finish that story. Like, I had the wheel that was wrong, right? And then my drawers were damaged. The actual clasp here had been crushed. So you couldn't get it open. Because this was crushed. That red clasp there. I wonder, is this 4-drawer the one that was open? It is. Remember how I commented in the beginning of this video that it was suspicious that this was opened? Well, it's fucking suspicious because, and I'll see if I can go to our Ace, but I had to order this 4-drawer from one that was a little bit farther away, and I noticed like this drawer doesn't close properly, right? And I thought it was just because of the plastic in here. It's fucking broken. You can see it's stressed. The plastic here is stressed. Well, fuck me. And then this tag is upside down. So somebody put that back on. Those fuckers. And this is what I get because like I said, I had to order. It said our local Ace I couldn't even do ship to store. I would have had to ship it to get it. And of course, that is the part that is busted. And I noticed something was up early on. And I'm sitting here walking. This is always look at your stuff you buy, guys. Whether you're buying it off Amazon or you're buying it from a local place. But I had to do a store pickup for this 4-drawer at not our local store, like one away from us that I had, like it's not one we frequent. And you can tell that top drawer does not, see how that goes in properly? Because it's fucked. Well, I'm gonna leave that label on. I thought this project was done. If you guys know how my projects go, this is exactly fucking how they go. I fixed the cat tree. The next day, they broke the cat tree. I finally spend the time and I get the rest of the pieces of the pack out so I can finish my pack out stack, right? The way that, I mean, we changed a little bit. That guy's now up there because it's less wobbly. But one of the core pieces that I actually had to order from a different store is damaged. And I knew something was up because this was opened. See, opened. And like I said, that was like, oh, maybe that's like this plastic's just getting caught in the drawer. It doesn't close properly. And it's because it's busted. You can see where the plastic is fatigued from where whatever it is broke out. There's probably like a screw that snapped off a standoff up in there. That shouldn't be for a brand new thing, except this indicates somebody knew that was that way and they retaped this shit on it. All right, now to look at the rest of these. Let's pull it out in the middle of the garage. Yeah, I definitely want to put some Velcro straps because here, when you're like letting it down, it pulls away. If you just, pull that in, I'm sure that wouldn't happen. All right. So this piece we know is good. That one was the only good one. Like I said, this bottom drawer had the clasp crushed in. And the guys over at our local place were like, we've never seen that happen before. And I'm like, yeah, hey, they fucked this up. This is a return. This is like somebody used it, because the other side is just as fucked. Oh my God. I am 99% sure somebody like probably had one, broke it, and then like bought a new one and returned this one. I mean, it could have come that way, but it's odd that both sides are broken in the same way. And basically what happens is I can feel a screw hole right here. So there's a plastic standoff in here that screw is going into, like a self-tapping plastic screw, and pulling it kind of like a case fan. And what ended up happening is something hit this enough that snapped it off. And then it can't go up in there because the standoff's stuck in here and it won't locate up into where it's supposed to be. Fucking hell. You're so close. We were so close. So fucking close. Frustration, I tell you. Frustration. Nothing the fuck ever goes completely right. Oh. Yeah. I guess the thing I'll sell or I'll finish up with is get the clear ones. Clear topped ones, you can see what's in them. They do make black topped ones. I feel like the black top plastic isn't as hard either. Doesn't feel as durable to me. And you can't see what's in there. And if I recall correctly, the non-clear ones may not have the gasketing. I don't know that for sure. But I love, there are also ones that don't have these inserts, which may be the non-clear ones as well. I love that these have it. Now, if you have stuff that already has little containers and you don't need those, so you don't need to see it, hey, save some money, get the black topped one. But if you're actually using it like I'm going to be, which is screws going here, I should be able to put, you know, like one of every size of wood and or decking screw. The big ones here will probably be the 3.5-inch bad boys in there. And then you can still run, you know, like stuff up the middle, either long, like I have some long, they're not like deck screws, but they're like really, I forget what they're called, like the Spax bits or Spax screws. They're like these massive ones. Throw some of those up the middle. I'm probably gonna throw like a Phillips 2, a T25, a T15 in here, just to like have it. You know, just so like you can, if you need to put screws in someplace, just this will be sitting here, and you pull that off. Boom. You know, grab out your impact out of there. You already got the bits in here. You don't even need to, you know, grab a bit set or something like that. So, fuck me though. See, this looks a little bit higher. Yeah, this thing's fucked. Look at that. You can see the top of that. That is pristinely clear, right? Like, there's even less gap on this one. No gap, basically no gap. A wide fucking gaping hole. That's probably why that top drawer doesn't seat in properly. This is fine back here, but yeah, I mean, unless this happened in manufacturing before it got to Ace, which I'm doubting. And then, like, you know, somebody opened up and returned it, but they wouldn't have put it back out if they knew it was busted like this. So I'm gonna put this on. Somebody having bought it, used it. You can see a little bit of wear there, a little scratch. I saw some over here, what looked like some dust or something. I don't know if I'm making that up in my head, but maybe this came from the factory this way. If you guys have seen that before, let me know. But with this bag being opened, where's the other one in here? I guess it's supposed to look like this. See, even this one's torn. See, it's like that's opened up too. And you're like, how do you know? Yeah, this one doesn't. I'm getting frustrated. I need to stop. That's just, I just gotta take it back. It's just, you ever have a thing that you wanted to, like I wanted to start tomorrow because it's now 4 a.m. I might be sleeping by now. Start getting some of the tools out here because I have like a half a drawer at least, if not more, in my big toolbox that is meant to go out here. Actually, it's probably like 2 halves of a drawer, so a full drawer that was at least going to populate here, and then bring out the impacts for down in there. I mean, I can stick them in there if this isn't available right away, and then just move it eventually. That's fucking annoying. Oh, for those wondering like how it's supposed to look when they're sealed, let's take a look here. So they got these little tie down these, right? Oh, you can see some more wear on this. There's scrapes. And that wouldn't be from opening this. That is from no scrapes here. So let me put on a 1X. See, scrapes. Oh, you're probably not going to see that. But there's wear on this leading edge here. Like it was scraped on concrete or like a truck bed. Like that sort of thing. Neither of my other two have that. I am itching towards. You can see some right here too. You can see some stress there on that plastic as well. And that's not on. See? When they're unopened, they're like this. They don't use the sticker to stick it shut. These sound the best, the 2 drawers. Fuck me. Well, I guess that's something to deal with tomorrow. Ran around picking these up too. Didn't even think to look. That I can't blame on Milwaukee sending a bad one. And I think when I got my bad True Drawer back around Christmas time, that was somebody with the forklift or something took it out, not not Milwaukee making it badly. I mean, maybe they took it out at the Milwaukee factory, but it wasn't manufactured that way. Something just destroyed that clip. The wheel was actually on the cart was assembled wrong, but they just flipped it around. I didn't even think to look at that, to be truthful. I was just frustrated because one of my 2 items, this guy was good, but one of my 2 items was damaged already, and the fact that the other one wasn't working was frustration at a minimum. My mom's gonna love the fact that I am. Yeah, see how that leaned forward and like when boom. I need to be able to lower it, so I'm definitely gonna figure out some way of strapping this tightly, like holding it to the back, kind of like how when you're moving furniture around, you get the strap that goes around the front. You just need something that latches on here, or you could go through like this hole over here. One of these or something. I just think right there is going to be the best because then you're going to get metal to metal. Yeah, it might wear a little bit, but I mean it's Velcro. You can just replace it. My mom's going to love that I'm still fucking cursed, and I bet you that's all because of the fact that I had to go to that other store. That wasn't our usual one, and I picked the closest other one. Why would we suspect somebody? Pack out buying shouldn't be this hard, right? Do you guys get bad ones too? Or do you go to the Home Depot and like pick it up in person so you can see that shit? Like I said, we did for the other bits, but this one I had to order from a different store, and they had it ready, like waiting. Same thing with this other stuff. You wouldn't think it'd be an issue, but I wonder if I can see if I can return this to the local one, or if we have to go back to that store. I might call them up and see, like be like, hey, if we did a ship to store at another store and it's damaged, can we come to your store? Sort of thing, because you're closer. You would think so. We could do that back in the Best Buy days, I need some sleep now. This is just, I was gonna come up here, eat my coffee, drink my oatmeal, and start filling this bad boy up. Probably gonna put it like once the ladder, because the door would open, the ladders would be behind the door, and then this I was gonna bet, because those are my tires, those are my winter tires right there, right? Those are going to go in a rack either above there or above there, like right in line with the garage door. There should be enough room between the end of the bike and the wall. So I was gonna back this guy up. Bada boom, right there would be perfect. We'd keep that cardboard up too, and then you have access to, nice access to tools, not too far from the workbench. Maybe we leave the Sawzall in there too, because most places using the Sawzall is probably out here, not in the house. Kind of distribute, but I use Dremel probably more in the house, to be truthful. Stuff like that. Keep a couple bats out here. Keep a charger out here. I got the 4-banger charger in the basement. Keep like a 1-banger out here. Got to get those mounted on the wall. I was thinking probably above the air compressor over there. I think that'd be a good place to put. We need the Ryobi, the Milwaukee 18 volt. It does have a 12 volt on there, but I might throw another 12 volt because I just got one with the subcompact. I might throw that up there too. 3 of them on the wall. Might have to mount a board. Probably would paint it white to match, everything else. Fucking shit. Why people? Gotta be people, Well, hopefully you enjoyed this one. Got my thoughts on the pack out. Let me know how you use yours. Minus the broken one. Like I said, maybe the wheeled drawer one, since would get that cabinet on the bottom as a drawer. That's probably where I would go now if that was available. And at the time of this really good deal with Ace, I checked when buying these other ones, because that would have easily got me halfway to that $500. So we'll see how this packs up in there. Like I said, I don't think the cart will do well. If that becomes an issue, we will revisit it. Maybe once that bottom drawer box goes on sale, I'll snatch it up, as well as a couple other things to build this out as kind of like a cart for around here. Because often you need to pick up a bunch of tools, bring them back, put them away, that sort of thing. But why people gotta be assholes? I'm guessing that's what happened here. If you think something else happened, comment down below. Appreciate it. This did kind of ruin the process a little bit, though. I do love the new ladder, however. So, ladder hype. And you're like, it's just a fucking ladder. Yeah. If you've been on that ladder, you'd know why I am so pumped about that ladder. We'll see you in the next one.